How's it going, everybody? My name, as you know, is Blackstar, and welcome to a very steep divergence from the norm of my content. Usually I make gaming videos. It's literally in my name, after all, and I never dip into social commentary. But over the last few months, someone has been making the rounds on YouTube and TikTok that has caught my attention, and for all the wrong reasons. While others have spoken on this creator, there are several videos on him, in fact, and they've all linked to the content they were reacting to. I'm taking a different approach, and I'm not going to be linking back to him and hiding his name. I will be doing this for a few reasons. One, sharing his name can lead to potential brigading. That is something I do not condone. Please do not go looking for him and flooding his channel with hate. That would be completely antithetical to what I'm trying to do. Two, I don't want to give him a platform. His channel is actually rather small, and I don't want to drive up traffic to someone like this. And finally, though the comments I've been seeing have been rather conflicting, the general consensus is that this creator is actually a teenager, so I really don't want to put a teenager on blast, even given the nature of what he's saying. All that aside, I'm going to be putting a content warning at the beginning of this video because it dives into some heavy topics including racism, homophobia, transphobia, and anti-Semitism. I will be dropping a warning before each segment that talks about that, so you are free to skip ahead should you wish. All that aside, let's begin. So a bit of background context here. I was scrolling through YouTube one day, and I came across an intriguing video talking about a racist comic book geek. I thought, surely he can't be that bad. Surely this is an exaggeration. So I decided to look into him myself, and oh, I was proven wrong. He has some of the worst takes I have ever heard when it comes to comics, movies, TV shows, everything. I'm going to begin with a few points he made in the video that introduced me to him in the first place, where he had some, let's just say, interesting opinions on DC Comics' Absolute Universe, particularly on Absolute Batman. And I will let him take it from here, but just listen to what he says about Alfred Pennyworth.
DC has decided to reinvent Batman in the brand new series, Absolute Batman. Many people are saying it's amazing, it's a breath of fresh air.
This shit is gas, man. Wrong. This shit is gas. Like, this is what DC meant when they said DC all in.
I'm kind of retarded.
I'm here to tell you if that's the truth. Spoiler alert, it's not at all. It's literally one of the worst takes on Batman ever. Quick disclaimer before I start. This isn't some rage bait video. I'm not lying to get your attention. I'm telling you my opinion, which I believe is the truth.
Alright, I'm gonna stop you there for a moment. If it's your opinion, then sure, you're well in your right to believe that it's the truth, but if you're going to hammer it this much, you better have some decent claims. Carry on.
That this, A, is not Batman, and B, is an absolute dumpster fire. This comic is a disgrace to creators like Frank Miller, Jeff Loeb. This isn't the Batman they envisioned. I know it's a different take on the character, but what this does ruins the character entirely. So this comic strives to reinvent the world of Batman in every way possible. What if a bodybuilder, engineer dude became Batman? Yeah, that's not badass. I'm sorry. I don't find that badass. I don't find that different, unique, entertaining. It's just cringy. There's people all across the internet saying that this comic is badass, it's awesome. This comic literally reads like those edgy 90s comics that every single person makes fun of.
Hold on there. I don't think a single person has made fun of Spawn, a widely popular character. Although that's pretty unimportant to the point of the video. Forgive me, carry on.
It's like a 12-year-old's fan fiction of Batman. This comic has everything. It has horrible, edgy dialogue. It has some pretty gay character designs. And if you can believe it, they managed to race swap another redhead from comic books. They managed to jump in there and turn them black.
That right there. that cadence is part of what made me want to make this video in the first place. Honestly, you could have just fitted this clip over it.
A burglar broke in! He was black! He's the one who stabbed that nagging bitch in her fat face! He was black!
And it would have made just as much sense.
So after reading Absolute Batman, I think we can all agree that Scott Snyder can't really write comic books, correct? And this is a fact, proven with every single page of this garbage. There's an abundance of absolutely insane creative decisions happening here. Who, in their right mind, greenlit Alfred's look? What is the haircut? What is the beard? Why is he an MI6 mercenary with like grenade launchers and sniper rifles?
Brother, what? Okay, let's take this from the top, shall we? Alfred has, in several iterations, been more than just a butler. How about in the 2022 The Batman film, where he was former MI6 before being hired by Thomas Wayne? Or in the Gotham prequel series, Pennyworth, where he was a former member of the Special Air Service in England? Or in the cartoon Beware the Batman, where he was again former MI6. He wasn't always a butler. Bruce learned his martial arts from somewhere. You've shown off that you read comics, so I can't even say if you've ever picked one up you'd know that, because that's the more depressing thing here. You have picked them up and shown willful ignorance to the fact. Now we get into Bruce Wayne, and the things that he says, I'm going to give a bit of a content warning here. This is where we get into a little transphobia, so if you want to, feel free to skip ahead. I'm going to have a timestamp somewhere on the screen. You have been warned.
This is straight up cringe, I'm sorry. So I thought Alfred was bad enough, but then we get to Bruce Wayne, the main man himself. What do you think when I say Bruce Wayne? You think the suave, charming rich guy, which in Batman Year One was originally based off of Gregory Peck, but now in this comic, they're going for something a little different. Let's just take a little glance at what they thought Bruce Wayne was. So this is the page where Bruce Wayne is first introduced. We see him hitting a bag. He looks exactly like Bruce Wayne has for the last like 100 years, saying some badass Batman stuff. No fear, no pain. And then out of nowhere, this big hulking transgender comes up behind him and is like, hey bro, I think it's my turn now. And just starts blowing the punching bag across the room with his big fat arms. Now the character design going on here, he has the haircut of some fat emo transgender kid. And that is Bruce Wayne.
I'm sorry. What? Okay, there's no point in getting into this, but what the hell, let's engage. So, just because Bruce is portrayed as buffer and with a more muscular figure and a different haircut, that makes him trans? Like, we've just started and we're opening up with some standard rhetoric. Like, then what's the standard is my question. He's big, he's buff, his hair is styled a different way, so that immediately puts him into this weird box. Would you say the same thing if you saw Half-Thor Bjornsson sporting the same haircut? And if you thought that wasn't enough thrown at the community, remember what he said earlier.
Some pretty gay character designs.
Gay character designs. What are you yapping about? For context, that panel that he pulled up, it features Bruce talking to his mother, Martha. So fellas, is it gay to give your mother flowers? You see what I mean when I say that he makes no sense whatsoever, and while he's turning into the DC Universe's ultimate crash out, he comes to a thing that incenses him so much, and it is this.
And now, finally, we get onto the biggest offense of the entire story. Commissioner Jim Gordon is giving a speech to Gotham, and he actually looks like Jim Gordon. He's white.
He was black!
Do I even have to say anything about that? I'm telling you, it's the same energy.
He has the grey hair, he has the mustache. Then the terribly ridden villains enter, the party animals, and they just start shooting up the place. Then that's when we get the glimpse of the best part of the entire story. Barbara Gordon. She peeks her head in, just one panel I'm pretty sure. And she's black. She is black.
And that right there is what helped prompt me to make this video in the first place. Brother, just say you hate black people at this point. Oh wait, you said exactly that!
When you say I'm scared of black people, newsflash, you illiterate troglodyte. Everybody is.
The best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away.
You can't stop looting and burning countries to the ground. Next time you're driving to work and you're enjoying your Marxist Batman comic, try not to get robbed or shot by your fellow brothers.
You see where my issue lies. There's just such dog whistle racism. You've gone beyond the dog whistle.
They did it again. Another redhead character, just changed to black. Iris West, Wally West. Are we serious? We're just making them black for no reason and expecting people not to notice or expecting people to tolerate it. But I won't, and I hope everybody else won't either. Black Barbara Gordon just snuck her way in. Why? Think about it from a writing standpoint. She didn't even need to show up in the story. If she did, she should have looked the way she always has. I'm getting sick of this. Can we just start changing black characters to white? Can Black Panther be white in the next comic, please? It doesn't work that way because black people need to be represented. Wait, they've always been represented and you're just shoving them into stories for no reason now. You're swapping people out to make them black because you want to make up for all those years of not being represented. It's a lie and it's a scam.
Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. To answer your question of why can't we have a white Black Panther, it's simple, really. There are characters in media whose racial and ethnic identities are integral to the characters themselves. Characters like Black Panther, Luke Cage, Shang-Chi, Kamala Khan. That is the purpose of representation. Characters whose identities are intertwined with their character arc. It is as simple as that, yet it's a concept you can't seem to grasp. Either way, that is the gist of his crashing out on the absolute universe. And I have seen a few of his videos now because I wanted to see just how deep the rabbit hole went. And if you thought witnessing the absolute crash out was a trip, then strap in, my friends, because this is a race to the bottom. This creator makes his opinions on media quite clear in every video he makes. That was made clear with the absolute Batman thing, though it's not limited to DC Comics, not in the least. You can also see it with Marvel. Let's visit a take on Spider-Man. So, the new Disney Plus series, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, debuted recently, and it has been putting up numbers. Let's put aside the VA for Peter talking about worrying that the show would be woke and annoying. That's a story for another day. Either way, from the look of it, the animation style is very different for a Spider-Man series, and their take on Peter Parker is interesting. But not to this guy. And where else would his issue lie? Well, let's find out.
Brand new upcoming animated TV show has had a few trailers and teasers released, and to no one's surprise, it looks like total garbage. Just from searching around YouTube, you'll find people acting shocked to how crappy and how woke it looks.
Yeah, sorry to interject here again, but he dropped this video before the debut of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and here it is on Rotten Tomatoes, so yeah, he's just wrong here. Carry on.
But I'm not really going to be one of those people who acts like this is some new concept. The harsh truth is Spider-Man has kind of been ruined for years. And we've all kind of been coping and wishing in the back of our mind that Spider-Man returns to his former glory. First, I'm going to have to address that this issue with Spider-Man is nothing new. So you could ask yourself, when did all the troubles start for Spider-Man? Was it when Tom Holland took over? Or when the Spider-Verse movies came out? Or when in the comics Peter Parker was turned into a literal cock?
So let's put the issue of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man aside for now, because he is going to walk us through how Spider-Man has been, quote, ruined throughout the years. And he's going to start with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man duology. Now, what could he possibly say about Spider-Man 2?
But unfortunately, it does go before that. So I do respect Andrew Garfield's portrayal of Peter Parker, especially in The Amazing Spider-Man Part 2. But the problems we're facing now date back to that movie. I'm all about comic accuracy, and Andrew Garfield's movies failed in that department a lot. Even though we got to see Peter Parker sporting a goddamn Ramones t-shirt, I still think that his portrayal wasn't the best. But the real issue wasn't Andrew Garfield or the changes to the character's design. Instead, it was the race swap that we let go under the radar. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Jamie Foxx plays Electro.
Of course, it had to come to the race thing. Yes, in Spider-Man 2, Jamie Foxx plays Electro, and while you are busy ranting and gallivanting about how this shouldn't be a thing, and you're all for comic accuracy, then you know damn well that there are versions of Electro that look like this. So what is the problem? Oh, it's just that he's black, huh?
And no matter what way you look at it, this race swap cannot be justified. You could say that Electro is just a small character. He's a villain for Spider-Man to face. It doesn't matter what race he is. Exactly. So why change it? The other argument you might see when it comes to race swaps is, well, if the writing is good, I don't care. Well, it didn't do that either, because he was literally the worst part about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And that's the thing, a lot of people didn't actually mention it, or talk about it, or call it out.
Maybe because people have real lives and don't have time to waste yapping on the internet about how they miss how comics were just white people.
If it did, then maybe these race swaps wouldn't have continued. I don't know, maybe I'm just hoping for a better world, where the fans might have stood up and said something.
Okay, stand up and say something. What would you stand up about? The race of a fictional character whose ethnicity has no bearing on who he is.
But really, would it have made a difference? Because the people who own these corporations like Marvel and Disney and Fox aren't really the best people. Now, we won't talk too much about that because that's an entirely different video.
Man, I can't wait to watch that video on Marvel and Disney and Fox and just vomit all over the place because your takes are garbage.
But it does have to be addressed that people who agree with me are fighting a losing battle, because they're going up against these companies that are run by people who want to bring in race swaps, who want to eradicate the wholesomeness and the hopefulness of superheroes.
I'm sorry, eradicate the hopefulness and wholesomeness of superheroes because they happen to be black. That is getting into some they will not replace us territory, and now I'm genuinely terrified about who this guy keeps as company.
And that brings us to the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, which every single one of them is garbage. There literally isn't one good film out of the trilogy. And if you thought The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was bad, Tom Holland's movies ramped it up to 11. And from the first one, Homecoming, there's already 3 race swaps that I can name off the top of my head.
Okay, the Tom Holland trilogy is bad because of the race swaps? Is that it? Or are you just not a fan of Tom Holland? Because I really liked Homecoming personally, but let's talk about those race swaps.
Peter's best friend, which instead of being Harry Osborn, is Ned Leeds. You know, like the hobgoblin guy? The white guy. He's not some big fat Samoan dude or whatever the hell he is. So that's one.
Oh, okay. Do I really need to talk about Ned? No? Okay. Moving on.
Then you have Liz Allen, which is the love interest of Homecoming, which I do respect, because if you read the original comics, Liz Allen was Peter Parker's first love interest before MJ or Gwen. So I do like them sticking to the source material, but oh yeah, she's black. So they're not actually sticking to the source material, because it's a total race swap for no good reason.
Ah yes, Liz Allen. The struggle with him is that Liz Allen was black in Spider-Man Homecoming. That's particularly funny because, let me pull something up. This was Liz Allen in the 2008 series The Spectacular Spider-Man. She was Latina in that series, and nobody batted an eye.
And then we have the third race swap, which is the worst of them all. You have MJ, which was once this great character that helped Peter throughout the years as a girlfriend, then a wife that helped him, was literally the center point of Kraven's last hunt. Now she's Zendaya.
Par for the course, needless Zendaya hatred, nothing to see here.
Doesn't look the way Mary Jane Watson should look. Just look at any illustration of the character. John Romita Sr., Todd McFarlane, or the controversial but still great J. Scott Campbell. MJ does not look like Zendaya, and they do everything they can in all three of these movies to separate her from the original character. She's just this ugly bitch going around punching people in the nuts, making smart comments towards everybody in the film. That is not Mary Jane Watson.
Hold on. Say that again.
Is not Mary Jane Watson.
Okay, finally, I can concede a point to you. That is indeed not Mary Jane Watson, and that's because, according to No Way Home, her name is Michelle Jones Watson. It's a different character for a different adaptation, you media illiterate idiot.
None of the fans called it out. Then there's the Spider-Verse movies that I could do a full hour-long video on about how retarded they are. Miles Morales is not a good character. None of the films are good.
Okay, there's a point. Miles Morales is not a good character. Okay, tell us why. The Spider-Verse isn't a good movie. Tell us why. If you don't give reasons, you're just talking nonsense, and I have heard more than enough of you yapping.
Stop overrating them. And as a little side note, let's look into the people who made it. And one of them is a guy called, Randy or Rodney Rothman. And he believes that Peter Parker is Jewish.
Chill out.
Hang on there. Play that clip again.
Chill out.
You really thought we were going to let that slide, huh? The blatant anti-Semitism right there, because it just got better, didn't it?
Once again, stay away from comic books and these characters. Stop injecting your own personal crap onto these characters. Peter Parker is not Jewish just because you are.
Ah, the good old-fashioned don't force your background onto a character you're adapting. Not realizing that people have been debating about Peter's religiosity for decades now. They've dropped hints to Peter being Jewish in the comics for decades now. And even then, I hate to break it to you, actually no I don't, the golden age of comics that you long for so much would not have been possible if not for Jewish creatives. The likes of Joe Shuster, Jerry Siegel, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. That is the stuff that you love to harp on, but at the same time you seem to just hate the Jewish mind.
And that's all these people want to do. They want to make Spider-Man black. They want to make MJ some ugly, racially ambiguous person. And all of that bullcrap brings us up to your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And just take a look at it for yourself.
Somebody help me! He's running, grab him! Gotcha! I thought it was Dan Meat.
So Harry Osborn is some black tranny. And Norman Osborn is also black, and Peter Parker, instead of being the character that Steve Ditko and Stan Lee originally envisioned him as, is now a soy boy that is almost more similar to an anime protagonist.
Honestly, he said so much nonsensical BS that I don't even know where to begin anymore. Peter Parker has always been kind of a dork. So they just play into it a little more in your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Somehow that's akin to an anime protagonist, but we're not going to deal with that here.
I'm not even going to give this show my time. Why would you even talk about this? The show is a dumpster fire. 2 people are going to watch it. It's going to get cancelled after a season, and then we're all going to go back to living our lives. Spider-Man is not Andrew Garfield. Spider-Man is not Tom Holland. Spider-Man is not Miles Morales.
You know, I find it funny that he says Spider-Man is not Miles Morales, even though Marvel Comics would literally say otherwise.
Spider-Man is not whatever the hell this is. Spider-Man is the original comics, video games, cartoons, and the excellent Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, with the best portrayal of Peter Parker on screen. Notice how although Sam Raimi might be of a certain religious or ethnic background, he doesn't try to inject it onto Spider-Man, because it's a character that you're working off of, that you're adapting from a comic book.
Okay, I also liked the Raimi films, but to clamp onto them like this for the totally wrong reasons, I don't understand.
You don't come in and go, oh wait, I'm this in real life, so now the character has to be that also. And that's why I'm kind of hopeful, and I don't really care.
Okay, small nitpick, but if you don't really care, then how are you also hopeful? Those are mutually exclusive. Try again.
Who is actually going to watch this? It's going to die out like all the other products that these companies are putting out. And maybe in the coming times, the entire world can wake up and reject this, so we don't have to be subjected to it.
You really could have condensed all of this if you just made this video saying, I hate black people. Really, you could have cut your entire career short just by saying, I hate black people, and you would have gotten the point across all the same. Yeah, that's about all I can stomach from this guy for now, even though he has quite a few more takes, and I am well open to discuss them in a part 2 if you guys want it. So, that is a comic book geek who really needs to quit yapping. So, if you want to see a part 2, leave a like, comment, and I will get that to you as soon as I can. Until next time, I'm out. Peace!